The office was quiet, the usual hum of voices and clicking keyboards now replaced by the faint sound of the city beyond the windows. Amelia sat at her desk, scrolling through documents and making adjustments to the final draft of the proposal. It was past 9 p.m., but she didn't mind working late. This project was her chance to shine, and she was determined to make a mark. Amelia had always been a dedicated employee, ambitious and hardworking, which hadn't gone unnoticed by her boss, Mr. William Carson. He was a man of influence and charm, known for his impressive track record and quick rise through the corporate world. But as much as he was admired, there were rumors, stories that floated around the office about his interactions with some employees, especially the women. Amelia had heard the whispers but always brushed them off. She believed in giving people the benefit of the doubt, and Mr. Carson had always been respectful to her. As she worked, she heard footsteps approaching. Glancing up, she saw Mr. Carson standing there, a slight smile on his face. He wore his usual tailored suit, but his tie was loosened, and there was a weariness in his expression that seemed unusual. "Working late again, Amelia?" he asked, his tone casual but with a hint of something else she couldn't quite place. "Yes, just finishing up the last touches," she replied with a polite smile, hoping he'd appreciate her dedication. He nodded, taking a step closer. "You're one of the few people in this company who truly cares about the details. It's rare, and I value that. This project means a lot to me, and knowing you're handling it gives me confidence." His words were flattering, but there was an intensity in his gaze that made her slightly uncomfortable. She looked away, pretending to rearrange some files on her desk. "That's kind of you to say, sir," she responded, keeping her tone professional. He was silent for a moment. Then he seemed to come to a decision. "I was actually going to suggest something," he said slowly. "I have a suite upstairs, where I sometimes stay when nights like these run long. It's more comfortable, has a nice ambience. Why don't we head up there to review the final draft together?" Amelia froze, her heart beating faster. She'd heard about Mr. Carson's suite. It was rumored to be luxurious, almost like a personal penthouse within the office building. But the thought of going there alone with him unsettled her. She had always been wary of crossing professional boundaries, and this invitation felt like a step too far. She cleared her throat, trying to keep her composure. "I appreciate the offer, Mr. Carson, but I'm comfortable here at my desk. I'll be done soon." For a moment, his expression flickered, a hint of impatience crossing his face. But he quickly masked it, his smile returning. "Amelia, sometimes it's beneficial to be open to new experiences. Staying in the office late, hunched over your desk, it's no way to work. A change of scenery can do wonders. Help us both relax." His tone was persuasive, almost coaxing. Amelia felt a wave of unease wash over her. She'd always prided herself on her professionalism, on maintaining clear boundaries with everyone, including her superiors. And as much as she respected Mr. Carson's authority, she wasn't willing to compromise her comfort or principles. With a polite but firm smile, she looked him in the eye. "Thank you, Mr. Carson, but I think I'll finish up here tonight. I'm almost done anyway." For a moment, he said nothing, his expression unreadable. But she could feel the tension in the air, a silent standoff between them. Finally, he shrugged, though there was an edge to his voice when he spoke. "Suit yourself, Amelia," he said, his tone carrying a hint of irritation. "I just hope you're not missing an opportunity." He turned and walked away, his footsteps echoing down the empty hallway. Amelia released a breath she hadn't realized she was holding, feeling a mixture of relief and anxiety. She knew she'd made the right choice, but the encounter left her feeling uneasy. As the days passed, Amelia noticed a subtle change in Mr. Carson's behavior toward her. He was colder, his compliments replaced with curt nods and silent disapproval. She sensed his disappointment, but she tried not to let it affect her. After all, she had done nothing wrong. She had simply asserted her boundaries. However, the tension continued to build. Small assignments she had handled flawlessly were now scrutinized. He called her out on minor mistakes in meetings, his tone laced with sarcasm. Her colleagues began to notice, exchanging glances whenever he addressed her. She could feel their sympathy, but no one dared to intervene. One day, Amelia received an email from Mr. Carson, summoning her to his office. She took a deep breath, straightened her blazer, and made her way there, mentally preparing herself for whatever awaited. He looked up when she entered, his expression hard and unyielding. He motioned for her to sit, and she complied, her heart pounding. "I've been reviewing your recent work, Amelia," he began, his tone sharp. "And frankly, I'm not impressed. Your performance has been lacking." The words stung, but she forced herself to remain composed. She knew her work was thorough. His criticism felt more personal than professional. "I'm sorry if I haven't met your expectations, Mr. Carson," she replied, keeping her voice steady. "I'm always open to feedback." He leaned back, his eyes narrowing. "You know, Amelia, ambition is a two-way street. Those who succeed here are the ones who are willing to adapt, to go the extra mile. I thought you understood that." She felt her cheeks flush, anger simmering beneath her calm exterior. She knew exactly what he was implying, but she refused to be intimidated. "With all due respect, Mr. Carson, I believe I've demonstrated my commitment through hard work and dedication," she said firmly. "I don't think adapting requires anything beyond that." His expression darkened, his eyes glinting with something almost predatory. For a moment, she felt a surge of fear, but she stood her ground, refusing to let him see her vulnerability. After what felt like an eternity, he finally looked away, a smirk playing at his lips. "Well, I hope you know what you're doing, Amelia. In this industry, opportunities don't come twice." With that, he dismissed her, and she left his office, her heart racing. She knew the encounter had solidified a rift between them, but she also felt a sense of empowerment. She had faced his intimidation and held her ground, refusing to compromise her integrity. As the weeks went on, Amelia continued to face subtle retaliation, more scrutiny, fewer opportunities. But she found strength in her resilience, drawing support from her close friends and colleagues who admired her courage. She knew the path she had chosen was difficult, but she remained steadfast, knowing she had done what was right. In time, her reputation as a hardworking and principled employee spread, and she gained the respect of others in the industry. Her courage inspired those around her, proving that success was possible without compromising one's values. And as for Mr. Carson, his influence began to wane, his actions coming under scrutiny as more employees spoke out. Amelia's courage had set a precedent, paving the way for change. Though her journey had been challenging, she emerged stronger, her integrity intact, and her future bright with the promise of new opportunities.